Babies don't come with instruction books. The doctors and nurses don't follow you home from the hospital. And so there's a lot of questions and concerns that come up that you really don't anticipate. And what we find is that others will tell us, oh, you'll know what to do and you'll fall in love immediately with your baby. And sometimes those things don't happen. And so I think that the benefit of Hands is that it really allows us to go in and serve families in a way where we talk with them about how to love and nurture their baby, as well as give them the information about child development that they may not be getting from other places.
Because I didn't know really what attachment really was with kids, because I never really had many bonds with other children. You know, I never really was great with kids. And so when I had mine, you know, when Trayvon was first born, I didn't really have much of an attachment to him because I didn't know how to really connect with him, or I was more nervous than anything. And then, you know, with Hands, they told you, you know, everything you do with them, like as long as it's a positive thing, you know, it's like, you know, tell them it's okay when they're crying, or, you know, helping them through an issue, you know, that's all attachment. With this one, it's totally different, yeah. I'm immediately, you know, trying to get to his knees before sometimes Mommy does, you know, which is totally different.
How do you guys
We love it because, I mean, all the information that we get, we usually we just grab it, hold on to it. We're like, there's a lot of stuff that we use with him that we didn't, because we didn't have Hands last time.
Well, the core message around attachment and bonding for Hands is that emotional development and attachment is the foundation for all learning, and that I think is imperative that all parents realize that. We have to have those positive emotional connections for other learning to occur.
I think one of the main things that she told us in the beginning was that you could never spoil a baby. And I will never forget that. I tell that to everyone because, you know, there's, I think, old wives' tales and that kind of stuff of like, you know, if he's crying, he'll be okay, but you really want to nurture him and pick them up because it kind of helps build their trust in you. And once they build their trust and their, you know, confidence in you, then they can learn so much more.
Good morning. How are y'all? Doing good. Hi, Miss Olivia. How are you doing? Last time we've been talking about Olivia's social and emotional development, and we were working on that activity, encouraging her to imitate, and you said that she...
Hands home visitors generally try to see families on a weekly basis. We are real clear that the more frequent our visits are, the more regular our visits are, the better our outcomes are. So we go in once a week to see families generally, and we take in a curriculum with us. So we're all going in sharing the same information, so we know that families are getting quality, research-based information.
One of the best ways.
We talk about cues and communication, physical and brain development. We talk about parenting stresses, and just really how things that we can support families with.
There was an article in the Washington Post that said home visitation is preschool in its earliest form. And I love that because really what we're doing is we're taking information out to the parent and helping them to be their child's first teacher and make a difference in those first 3 years.
And helps babies connect sounds to the animals.
I think the Hands program has helped me go to the next level simply with being more aware, you know, knowing what things affect her that I didn't realize affected her. The biggest thing that I've learned from Hands is probably the brain development side of it. You know, I never realized how many different aspects, you know, how many different things in their environment actually affect their brain.
They taught us a lot about brain development with, if you don't do a lot with them, they don't really get those really, really good connections. Like they gave us a little I guess they're called little brain balls, I guess that they're called. And they showed one with stimulated brain and an unstimulated brain, and like all the big connections and stuff like that, which I think is great because I mean, that's one thing I want to do right, you know, is to get them smart, you know, get them, you know, doing good in school and going to college and stuff. And I want to, what we can do now while they're little is like one of the most important things.
One of the things that's most important to us as Hands home visitors is our strength-based beliefs, is that part of that core training that home visitors go through is that we talk with new home visitors a lot about seeing families from what their strengths are.
Tell me how a normal day or routine looks for you in LA.
And because of that strength-based perspective, we're real clear that it's not our job to go in and tell parents what to do and how to behave and how to live their lives. And that doesn't change parenting. What changes things for people is encouraging them to think differently.
I first became involved with hands while I was pregnant at the health department. My concerns were how I was going to manage going to high school and then taking care of her. It's helped me a lot. I've learned how to manage my stress a lot. It's helped me when she's stressful, how to help her, putting myself in her shoes. Like her terrible twos, we would be at the store and then she would want something, how to manage that by giving her food before we leave, telling her exactly what we're going to do at the store, what to expect, and that way she would be prepared for it and I wouldn't have her throwing herself on the floor while we were there. And it's just helped me look at situations differently. The other day I was in a rush and I'm like, Ellie, hurry up and do this, and I was like raising my voice and she goes, Mommy, don't scream at me, don't scream. And then I'm like, okay, Ellie, I'm sorry. She realizes that it's not normal for me to scream, and she tells me, and if I want her to not do it, I also have to set the example.
While we want to be the best parents we can be at all times, stress really does have an impact on how we respond to others and even how we take care of ourselves. And we know that some levels of stress can actually become toxic, and that affects development of babies. So it's really important that we try to shore parents up with those things.
We're building those connections in her brain.
All children need limits. There's no doubt about that. But how we set those limits may look different. We really try to talk with parents about the difference between discipline versus punishment. And there's two completely different definitions when you really think about it. Most of us want disciplined children, right? Children that are able to self-regulate, that have appropriate behaviors, that understand the difference between right and wrong. That's what we call a disciplined child. A punished child is more of the child who receives a punishment, a spanking, a loss of privilege. Oftentimes we discipline or punish like our own parents did. And so if our parents spanked, that may be culturally our norm of what we do.
When I was little, picking out a switch from the tree and coming in, it's like,
we had a belt.
And now that
My dad would take it right off.
Race car track,
with
shoe,
us.
Whatever they had handy,
We don't do that.
Yeah, now that I'm a parent, I'm like, that was a little much.
I didn't know that stress causes a baby's brain to kind of just shut off. So when they're under stressful situations, like a lot of yelling and fighting, it's really bad for their brains. I did not know that.
Yeah.
On a statewide level, we do compare families that are in hands with families that are not participating in hands. And we look at a lot of different areas. And what we have found over the years is really very good results. We've seen less low birth weight infants, less prematurity, less infant mortality. We also see less ER usage, less substantiated abuse and neglect. And we also see improved education, and we've also seen an improvement in child development knowledge.
When you see a baby enjoy the interaction with their parent and know that they are really getting the support that they need and growing, it's a beautiful thing.
We have a lot of new information that even some professionals are not aware of, and I think that every parent can use a second pair of hands. We like to say that in our program, and I think as parents we all have stress and we all have burdens, and we could all use this extra support.
If you were to do a home visit, with any of our staff members or team members across the state, I think that you would find that we love and we value our parents that we serve, and we feel very lucky that they let us come to see them because we know they want the best for their kids.
A little bit. Silly. A little more.
This program was funded in part by a grant from the Foundation for a Healthy Kentucky, investing in communities, informing health policy.